Okay, we spoke about it a little bit before, and we're going to speak about it again, that we're working very hard to fix Adam's sin. Now, Adam's sin, people think he made the sin, whatever, however many thousands of years ago, who knows how many years ago, I don't know, whatever it means, who knows. I don't know how these things work at all. I wasn't around. I'm just here now. But we know Adam made the sin, and it was bad news, whatever. People don't realize that all of their troubles and all of their challenges stem from this mistake. This error, we were all included in that. Every problem stems from this mistake. And what we're going to talk about here, we're going to see that the solution to these problems, one of the big solutions to every person's difficulties and all their challenges, is Peasach, keeping away from chametz, connecting to matzah, connecting to all the good things. That is really the solution. That's the answer. Everyone's looking for all these answers. The answer is, it's amazing. Like, what's the answer? Pesach. Very, very broken down. Pesach is the answer. The answer is, God passed over these houses. All these troubles pass over the person. That's how it works. So the first thing, the minimum thing, we find in the Book of Reincarnation by the Rizal, that at the very least, when a person connects the way they're supposed to connect, they're going to be able to handle whatever troubles they need to have. Generally speaking, he says, the troubles are going to go away. Sometimes there's a reason why you need these troubles, especially if there's something kind of endemic. A person like is born a particular way, or a child's born a particular way. Sometimes it's something that's just that's something he's going to have to deal with. It's going to be very, very difficult, and he has to deal with it. That's what, there's a great Mikubal that we are, one of these big Kabbalists we have a connection to, Rav Yosef Shani, and he told someone, this person said, the guy was never, he's very, very, very messed up. This is obvious from what his point was. He said, I really feel this incredible need to just end it all. I just want to jump a building. I can't handle it anymore. I can't do it. So he said, you know why you have this tremendous desire to jump off a building? Because you did this already. That's why. And you're back, and you have a harder challenge. And the way you fix it is to hold on and to resist and not to give in. And if you don't, you'll come back again, and it'll be harder for you. You have to be strong. So, but generally speaking, that's particular thing. But generally speaking, a person, these challenges, if we're able to connect, not only do we get the sweetness and the ability to deal with it and to take it and connect and to live with dignity and grace, but we also get, generally speaking, the problem goes away. Like usually, like Renato Dobresim said, generally speaking, a person has problems. There are things that are difficult, they're not working out. It's either because he didn't pray about it or he didn't pray enough about it. So usually it's just you're missing prayer. Now the Zohar says sometimes the answer is no. You can pray, but the answer, like I say, no, this can't really be fixed. Like maybe there's a way of getting around that, but it's super difficult. So usually the Rizal says a person, if he holds on, is connecting to the Torah and the mitzvahs the way he should and doing the commandments the way he should, things get worked, things get smoothed out, things get much easier, and problems, generally speaking, fall away. Everyone has their challenges, of course. So in the Haggadah, I just want to say the first thing is that one of the things that we pronounce this is the poor man's bread, this is lechma'anga, that our fathers ate in the land of Egypt. And we say, Kol dichvin yesav yechu, whoever wants, let them come and eat. Kol ditzrich yesav yifsach, whoever needs, let them come and enjoy the Pesach. So it's a very interesting declaration. Usually no one's listening at your door. Say, oh yeah, get in. I know people, it's a little funny. They say, no, at my Seder, I can't have guests. And you're like, you say every year, and everyone wants to come in, and then people say, can I come to your Seder? You're like, nah, it's better with the family, whatever. I just don't, it's like, you have the ability. Why don't you have guests? Everyone has their own way of doing things. But the point is that the deeper work explained that this is not only talking about whoever wants to come eat when no one's asking you to eat anyway, quite likely, and even if they are, it's a little late to come for dinner now because you're already in the middle of the dinner, right? So it's not likely that anyone's going to come from this declaration. So the declaration is to people who have their difficulties and their troubles. A person who has a hardship, he has a difficulty, says, whoever needs, let them come and eat. Whoever desires, whoever has a need, whoever has a lack, come in and enjoy the Pesach. That is the solution. Connecting to the Seder and bringing down all this divine influx. That is the way we're able to overcome and get through any difficulty, any problem. That's the answer. People think, what's the answer? That's the answer. So that's the first thing. So how do we leave all of these things, these meitzarim? We want to leave Mitzrayim, leave Egypt. A meitzar means a constriction, a constraint. All of these constraints that a person has that they go through. How do you get out of your meitzar, your constraint, your difficulty? What do you do? So Rabbi Natan, Rabbi Nassim Abresev, he says, and it brought in many sources this idea, and the Baal Shem Tov says it as well, it brought in many places this concept, that the verse says, Ki b'simcha tetzem, that a person leaves, his exodus, his freedom happens through joy. The first rule is we have to get to a place of joy, to be happy, to rejoice, even though there's difficulties. And there's a beautiful story I'd love to share about this very topic, that there was a certain great, really special man. He had a lot of students, and he came to his students on Purim, and they were dancing, whatever. And one of the students was a little bit. Purim's a time to rejoice, a beautiful time. People drink a little, and they connect in a very high way. Rabbi Nachman says at the beginning of Pesach. So sorry about that. I guess that's a pause for taking it out. Anyway, so what happened was he sees the student off on the side. It looks like really, really down, depressed, like having a hard time, bitter. I don't know. We can use a lot of great words like that. He was having a hard time. I said, "What's the matter?" He said, "You don't understand. I have all these daughters. I have no money. In his time, it was normal to get a dowry. You had to pay something to marry. At least the most fundamental things. It was normal for it. That's what the daughter's side did. That just was normal. Parents, the daughter, that's what they did. So I have no money for a dowry. Who's going to marry these girls? They're really great girls, but I'm completely I'm that's it. I'm done. I have no. I'm just they're getting a little older, and what do I do? They're not going to get married, but I don't have an option. What am I supposed to do? People were making there's no money. There's no making dowry. The man he was just making food to mouth. He was just making it day by day. So his teacher said, "Well, what? The answer is to sit and be depressed on Purim. The answer, come join us, rejoice despite your difficulty. Keep a sympathy sound. Rejoice. That's how you get out of your difficulty, your constraint." So she's like, "You know what? He got into it. Really danced. Everyone was dancing many hours. Fine." So then what happens? So that Shabbos, this person lived in a very distant place. He was a Bresser Chassid, actually. The person lived in a distant place, and someone came to his, his little shtetl, his little town. And the only person to stay with really was this guy. We were friends, so he came to stay with him. And he saw it's very poor. And he bought his own food, whatever he did. But he saw that the daughters, they seemed to have a lot of, great qualities. She's like, "Wow, this girl would be great for my son." She said, "What do you think about a possible match?" He asked him after Shabbos. He said, "Well, I don't know about a dowry. I don't know where." He said, "I don't care about the dowry." And one married, and they all got married. So that's the answer. The answer is you have to be happy. You have to connect. That's the first thing. You want to get out of your mitzvah, your mates, or your difficulty. You have trouble. You need difficulties. Eating means a lot of things. It means getting married. It means a lot of good things. All of you have to. It means you're going to get the influx. The benevolence is going to come down. Get the Peasach. You connect and bring your deliverance. How do you get delivered? You have to, first of all, number one is being happy. That's the very, very first rule. Now, besides this, we have to understand that before you make a Seder, the most important thing you can do is get rid of all of your chametz. All of your leaven has to be removed. Now, there's an old Jewish way. The person has he might have leaven that's worth a lot of money. It's hard for me to party. He's got a whole liquor cabinet, whatever, to throw it all out. So there is a way a little bit around that, an old Jewish way around it, which is that one sells his chametz, one sells his leaven to a non-Jew for the duration of the holiday. So you still have to search your house for little bits, but you can close something off, close a room off, tape it up. They even sell in some places stickers that said sold for Passover, whatever it is. So you don't want you to open it up, and you make sure to go to a rabbi and get it sold out, and then that's as if he doesn't have the leaven in his domain, in his possession. Because merely possessing chametz is also not what we want to do for these 8 days. Of course, there's a story with the rabbi who sold his community's chametz to this, really nice non-Jewish man. And the guy comes knocking on his door the day of Pesach. I don't know if it was the night of the Seder or the day. And he sat down and he said, "Listen, I'm sorry. I did the sale, and my wife and my kids are after me. They said you should never have done that. They're going to have occult powers over you. This guy, you don't know what these Jews are about, and who knows what they're trying to do to you. Give back, whatever. Get rid of all this stuff. Not a good idea." So he said, come on in, I'll give you a little bit of shliv, plum liquor or whatever they have on Pesach that's not leaven type of alcoholic beverage. You come sit down and we'll talk about it. He said, listen, I understand where you're coming from. I know it's hard for you, but I sold a lot of people's chametz and all at once, all of the leaven. So I can't really make it nullified. It's going to take me at least like around a week, let's say. But after that, it's all done. He's like, okay, they have to understand. Okay, obviously, the guy didn't quite understand in the beginning that it's only for a week or 8 days, whatever it is. He said, fine, I'll tell them. I'm sure they'll be satisfied. It's no problem. We'll store it another week. You promise? He said, you'll have my absolute guarantee. We'll take it back. I said, okay, great. But that's what it comes down to. There's a whole procedure to make sure that it actually works. It's worthwhile to use a rabbi. I think these days you can do it on the internet through Chabad.org or other places. It takes a second. You sign up. You don't have to pay anything. And it's all done just like that. Just make sure to put it away. Don't go in the closet. You set aside for your 11 rooms, whatever it is. And that's basically where it's at. Some people actually go to hotels, hard to clean, whatever. They'll sell the whole house. You can do that too. Just don't go in during Pesach and make sure it's sold and taken care of. Now, so the first thing is a simple level of removing the leaven from our domain, from our possession. We don't want to have any chametz and leaven, under any circumstances. It's not what we want to have for these 8 days of Pesach, because this is the time for us to be inoculated a whole year from the negative effects, the negative possible influences that are grasping onto what the chametz represents. Leaven represents katnus. That means a diminished state of being. And Rabbi Nachman says it means a person when his thoughts go in places that are not such good places. He starts like leaven, kind of rises, right? This idea of his thoughts go to all sorts of places. I had a cousin, his memory should be a blessing. He used to say, you have a guy who comes to his neighbor, right? And he liked to borrow the lawnmower or something. So he's on the way to the neighbor. He thinks, wait, but I didn't lend them this, or I had a problem. I wasn't around. They needed this. So who knows if they'll even lend them the lawnmower to me because I didn't give them. And he's on the way to his neighbor's, there's a little bit to walk to the neighbor's house. So he starts saying, maybe they'll even open the door and say, what, you think I'm going to give you my lawnmower? What are you joking? And he's thinking, maybe they'll even curse me out. Oh no, blank, you, whatever, how you dare ask for my thing? So then he gets the door, he's like, all riled up, he knocks the door, pow, bang, bang, bang. Hi, I can help you. Yeah, you can keep your darn lawnmower. It's like, people, this is what happens to people. Their thoughts go to the wrong places, and they are completely crazy. What happened? Don't make these buildings, even these crazy buildings. It's unbelievable what we do. Where our thoughts, we're suspicious of other people. We're suspicious of ourselves. We just can't seem to live in an harmonious, good way. So the first thing to be aware of is that we need to get our thoughts in rein. Get negative thoughts out of our head. Stay positive. Be positive. You'll think good, it'll be good. That's an old adage. Many sources to it. Think what's good, things are going to be good. It has to do with what your thoughts are, what your attitude is. And the opposite too, when a person's afraid, the verse says in Job, I feared it, therefore it came upon me. And the great commentators already say, because you were sitting there trepidating, oh no, this will happen. Well, it happened. It happened because you were so worried about it. Just take it easy. Everything will be fine. The person's going to be so angry and so uptight about it. It's not going to work well. So we have to have positive, good thoughts. It's a great part of what Passover is about, what Pesach is about. Dealing with simplifying so that when I need to have deeper thoughts, I can have them in a way that's going to be positive and not going to take me to a negative place. It's going to take me to a positive, good place. I'm able to think something through and realize I need to do this, I don't need to do this. This is positive, this is negative. Trying to figure out what's proper and what the right thing to do is and how to react and how to speak and how to do things. These will all take a deep thought. That's why on Pesach, after Pesach comes Shavuot. That's in 50 days later. So that Shavuot is the time when we bring leaven on the altar, because we bring a sacrifice of leaven. Because then we learn how to figure out and deal with complicated thoughts in a way that's not going to mess me up. Deal with the katnut as Rabbi Natan of Breslov says. That's how I deal with it. So now I have to first figure out. First of all, send it away. No negativity. Number one. Then I have to deal with this. Sometimes you need to have a little negativity. Figure it out. Say, no, this is not all right. I got to change. It can't be all sweetness and light and not consider the negative places. The person has their shadow. We have our problems we have to deal with, and you can't leave it in the shadows always. You have to deal with it in the right way. Rabbi Nachman would say, don't let your diminished state, your smallness, occlude your greatness. You have smallness, but you also have greatness. And he said, and also the opposite. Don't let your greatness make you forget, I don't have any smallness. No, you have to know when you deal with the smallness. He said, there's a time when you have personal prayer to God, when you're strong and you're able. That's when you deal with the diminished, the katnut, the little part of a person, the katnus, to be able to overcome it and learn how to figure out, this is not appropriate. Yeah, this is inappropriate. This I don't do. This I do. These are things the person has to work out, has to figure out.